My dear,
Finally,
finally, today I'm
finally we
starting.
are together. Yeah.
Yes, this is the day. So
Mm-hmm.
it's first week of May, and I'm finally starting my project, Liminal World. And I decided to start it with you. So first I will introduce you. This is Ivana. She's a friend of mine, and she's coming from Croatia, Republic of Croatia, which is, for those ones who don't know, a country in South Europe. She's as all of us right now in the world. She's in quarantine, and I reach out to her just to hear how she's doing and how she's holding in this situation. So, hello, hello.
Hello, my dear.
How are you? Tell me,
Oh,
how are you?
well, I'm a little bit tired. I don't know. I think it's because of the weather, because it's a little bit rainy
Mm-hmm.
all day. I didn't went outside all day, and it's not just because of quarantine. It's because when this kind of weather, it's then I decide to stay at home and do some work on my computer and send some mails and yeah, do some things that I usually don't like to do. So, so this was the opportunity. But like when you're all day in the house and you miss the air, fresh air, and then you become more sleepy than you usually do.
I
So
told.
yeah, I'm a little bit. I'm trying to find energy for this, and I'm a little bit excited because this is the first time that I'm speaking in English. This is some kind of interview and talk that is going to be public. So I don't know. I have some expectations that I shouldn't have, but for the first time, I accept that I have all these things, and I hope that I will give my best to explain my life and to have a nice conversation with you. Yeah, so that everybody can understand me.
I First I want to thank you because this is huge. This is huge for me. I
I
don't wanna
know.
lie. I don't wanna lie. This is my first also public speech in English. So I totally got it. But we will make it. So that's why
Yeah,
maybe I have you in this moment and you have me. So lean on me.
yeah, yeah,
Have
yeah.
you heard that song? There is a beautiful song that currently is going on in Canada, Lean on Me. Check
Oh yeah,
online.
yeah. It's very famous.
Yes.
It's very famous. Yeah.
But there are a lot of artists from Canada which just I think recently they recorded a song, so it's very
Mm-hmm.
nice. It's related to this situation.
Situation. The music and art is helping to people to how to say, to deal with this situation so much easier than maybe they wouldn't have opportunity if there is not art or music, or they would be in, how to say, more thoughts that are not so positive, or
Mhm.
when you are in this kind of situation, you go into yourself a lot. So
Mhm.
yeah, and
Mhm.
then you find a lot of things.
Oh yes, we
scary
will talk about
scary things.
we will talk about that. First,
Yeah.
I want to say just a few words about you. Ivana is actually a principal soloist, and she's on stage in one of the biggest stages in Croatia. So it's Croatian.
It's the biggest stages. It's the biggest stage in Croatia. Yeah.
So it's a national Croatian theater in a city of
Mm-hmm.
Rijeka.
Mm-hmm. Fiume.
Fiume, yes. So can I use that term as well?
Yes, yes, of course. It's
Rijeka
more
is.
international. It's more international. Yeah, in a way, maybe it's more recognizable. Yeah.
Okay, okay, I will. Oh, now I know it. So, but you're originally from Zagreb, which is the capital of Croatia, and you are currently in your apartment in Zagreb.
Yes, yes. I'm
Okay.
currently in Zagreb, and I'm living between two cities. So I'm living between Zagreb and Rijeka because of my work and the things that I have to do.
Mhm. So when this quarantine actually started? You were in Fiume, or you were in Zagreb? Where?
No, I was in Zagreb because my theater finished with how to say, not intentionally, but we had to finish with our plans and projects by the end of the February, in a way. So not just really by the end of the February. Things were still going on, rehearsal some in the May, yeah. No, March. Sorry, March. It's March. January, February, March, yeah. So things were happening in March still, but I think it was like on the 2 weeks.
That was the end of the
in March.
It was the end of the season in February, or it was just the end?
No.
No.
It was the end at the end of my project. Was my last project was in the end of the February, but the theater was still trying to work, and all these things with this disease happened. We were watching the news from Italy and all around the world what is happening, and we or our country realized that they should put some how to say, they should put the country in the safer mode, and they decided to close the theaters and close the borders or everything. We were locked down, yeah, at one point. And
when was that? Was that already in February or March?
Well, it was in March. It happened in March. So we had an earthquake on the 22nd of March in
That's
Zagreb.
what I want to talk about you.
Yeah,
I want to talk about it, but with
yeah, maybe I'm talking things a little bit confused because I'm trying to find the right words, and when you don't find the right words, then you're like a little bit lost in your thoughts, but you're trying to find some adjective or some word that is at least describing that you want to tell, but let's continue. So we had an earthquake on the 22nd, but let's say that I was recording last thing in my theater, and it was with all these measurements of the distancing. So it was that week before the earth. It was that week when the earthquake came. So I think that I was recording something at 19th of March. March 19th.
Okay, yeah. So pretty much the same as we here in Canada, because I'm in Victoria in Canada. So our life was also as yours, pretty much the same until 13th, 14th of March. It was a lot of talk. But we consider that as a lot of noise. And I first didn't want to accept the fact that something is happening, because I had my plans for spring break. And suddenly, like 13 was a Friday, 14, 15.
No, you're right. Sorry, I have to. Yeah, it was on the 13th. Yeah, I think everything finished on the 13th. So it was 1 week before the earthquake. Yeah.
Yes. Amazing. Yes. So it's actually the complete, like the same timing.
At the same time.
Here and here. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't prepare well.
No.
But I'm missing, like every day it's now the same. So I lost myself in the dates, and I have some other story that is happening, but it's not for now. But it's like which month, like it's not a long period, but it seems like it seems much more longer than it is.
This is like Groundhog Day. We are just repeating,
yeah.
after, all the time. I, to be honest, the only reason why I know exactly is because I have a kid. So the spring break started in Canada on we started 14th of March. So I know it was Friday. I supposed to be on my vacation, but I didn't go. Here, and everything was upside down. 2 days. Okay. But so you were in, you finished your performance in February. Everybody were talking about this, but you were still, as you said, recording some songs, and suddenly you're stuck in Zagreb. And what I want to know, before earthquake, I'm more interested to hear about the earthquake, but before earthquake, how was life in Zagreb? Did you see any differences? How did it start?
Well, let's say still in March, I was going outside, going to coffee, to drink a coffee or to eat a cake in the, coffee shop or something downtown. And that last week that you are saying, like on the 13th of March, it was like a little bit anxious energy that was happening, and
you could sense it. You could sense it.
You can sense it, and then people were, feeling like very in a panic, and especially if you go on the like Facebook, or then you can read so many posts, and people are alarming all other people, just be careful and be aware. But then you can see a lot of other comments. But there's the moment when I could feel like, well, what is really happening? Is this maybe I just I didn't I was not very careful. Maybe I could get this virus too. What was I thinking? Like, then I start to question myself at that week, and then even I was in Zagreb also all that period of time. So I when I finished my production in the end of February, I moved to Zagreb like permanently, because I didn't have so many obligations in theater. So every time I can be with my family or in Zagreb, I go to Zagreb, because there is, like apartment you need to put the water in it, of my plants, my babies.
But I will stop you here, because you said just a phenomenal sentence. When everything started, I didn't feel that I actually could sense it, but I didn't know how to react. But I remain in Zagreb because I feel safe.
Yes.
And just a week after, your safe zone starts shaking.
Yeah.
Because you had an earthquake on March 22nd. It was Sunday.
It was Sunday, early in the morning.
I'm just, when I'm thinking about that, like every country is getting into lockdown and finally realizing that we have to close the borders, we have to stay at home. That's the safest zone we can currently be in. And all of us are, practicing social distancing. We are, getting back home, and this is our safe zone. We should be here. We should stay. And suddenly your home is shaking.
Yes.
I cannot imagine, and I want to imagine. So I need you to walk me through that day, because earthquake is something I haven't experienced, especially not in this situation where you cannot reach out easily to other people because they're at distance. So I'm like, I want to know how it was. What did you do? How did you feel? I want to hear everything. Please.
Yeah, earthquake was a really experience of my life, one of the experiences, but it's terrifying, like when something wakes you so strongly and so unprepared. And everybody I was reading before, like Zagreb has a tendency to have earthquakes, or I don't know what else, and we had in the history earthquakes, but you never expect it to have it, because it's a busy city, it's a quite large city. Especially, I don't know, when you're living in the center of the city, somehow you feel more protected than if you're living in the
Mhm.
suburb. I don't know why.
No.
It's a weird combination of things that you are thinking and you are not even conscious that you are
Mhm.
thinking. But when the things when the earthquake happened, it was like you don't know what is happening. Everything was shaking. It was so strong, and it was like some kind of thunder, and such a loud noise was
Mhm.
produced. Like the like the hell opened, and all the,
Do you
how
think
to
that
say, all the bad things go out, and attack you in a way. But only that noise was so terrifying.
Mhm. Do you
That
think
was that happened during the moving of the earth, at the same time.
but you know
So
what I'm it was early in the morning.
yeah,
So
it
it
was
was
early in the morning, and we
pretty
had like this
quiet. That was
we
safe.
had like the first week of the serious quarantine, like it
Mhm.
was like everybody was at home for the first time. I live in the very center of the city, and in the very in the street that has
Busy.
a lot of
Traffic.
traffic. That was the first time that you cannot hear anything. So it was in a way, for us, I can say from my perspective, in a way, this COVID situation helped saved us.
Uh-huh.
Because it was, if we were not at our homes, if we had a situation that people went out on the Saturday evening and stay all day, all night in the city, or drunk, or I don't know in which kind of states,
Mhm.
I think that there would be so much more victims. So in a way,
Mhm.
we didn't have
Mhm.
uh, victims of the earthquake except one little girl,
Mhm.
and one worker that was working on the sanation of the how
Building.
to say, the buildings.
Building.
Yeah.
Buildings.
So in a way, we should be grateful to this COVID.
Mhm.
Because it was really, it was terrifying, like the buildings were tearing apart, like every building has now in the center of the city has problem with the static,
Mhm.
and a lot of how to say,
Chimneys.
chimneys. Yeah, a lot of chimneys broke the roofs of the buildings,
Mhm.
and we were like, my building was 1 month without the roof.
Jesus.
So, and it was surprise for everybody. It was surprise for the state, it was surprise for the city, people in charge in the city, for the people living in the city, for people who has these apartments in the city, in these buildings that are not in the good state. Now we realize how bad these buildings are, or in bad state they were initially, no
Mhm.
matter what the earthquake did. Like it was really, a lot of them were ruins,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
so
But
um
but
how
you
to
know,
say.
mhm.
Yeah, tell.
What I'm now when I'm hearing you, those people who actually, like the city, was actually trying to figure out what to do with the coronavirus situation.
Yeah,
So, that's like a huge thing, like everybody around. So all the forces are there. Everybody, like I've heard in like in a lot of countries, military was included, police,
yes,
like every
yes,
essential
yes,
worker was there. And suddenly,
yeah,
that you don't expect in that situation earthquake. You're not ready.
yeah.
You don't think about that. So probably it was a lot of confusion
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like, I don't know, I was reading, when we were in COVID situation, when all this quarantine started, and as I told you, like 2 weeks before this serious current quarantine, so like all March, you
Mhm.
start to read all kind of texts all kind of stories of kind of
So that energy,
apocalyptic theories or whatever.
Negativity,
yeah, and then you fall asleep with those thoughts if you allow to go to sleep in those kind of thoughts, and then something like this happens, and then you have like
manifestation of the
manifestation, the whole
hell.
craziness of the world, and how we are terrible, like for the whole earth and everything. And then you go like human race, I'm talking about human race, and all that is connected with us. And then you got a manifestation, and then the first thing you think, who is guilty for this, who is responsible for this, like
am I
but,
are you
yeah, I don't know who what is happening, what is that. Because at first moment I thought it's somebody is having some army against us, something like that happened, like somebody is shooting from all weapons that it has. It was such a intensive
you actually felt attacked on the outside, like attacked. Yes. It's virus, it's negativity, and now it's an earthquake. Like, how to hold the ground, hold the ground. Tell me, how did you hold the ground? Actually, how did you walk me through that day? It was 6 a.m. You were in the bed. Suddenly,
I'm in the bed. Suddenly, whole room is shaking. My bed is shaking. The everything is how to say. My walls are going to fall apart. The all these.
Do you still have those? Like,
yes, marks. I have marks. No. I don't fix them. I will not fix them for some period. I don't know when I will going to have opportunity to do that. But things are falling apart. So in a way, I have quite free space apartment. So I don't have so many bookshelves except for these two that I have in my room. But they were like quite fine. But that was not scenario for everybody, like people have different buildings and different different position in the building, like, and there was like a lot of damage. So that was the first thing that I realized, like my apartment is falling apart, and everything is moving, and I'm lying in my bed, but now sitting, I don't know where to move. I know that I should go under something that is very solid, but solid, or my table in the dining room, but it's quite far, and this first how to say, first attack, or how to call first punch of the
first sign of
it was like
shaking.
quite, it was like, it lasted for, I don't know, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, but it seems so, it seemed
much longer,
that much longer. So after that, I was like going to window to see what is happening, and I see there is nobody on the streets, and I can see so many buildings, like all these ornaments or parts of the building were on the street, like, and I can see guys that were cleaning the street. They were on the street when all this happened, and they start to clean these things, and then I realized that something it's not normal, it's not it's not normal from the beginning. But at the beginning, you don't think, you don't analyze, you just
woke up, you just woke up,
you just woke up, and you're just trying to understand what is happening, and you have a panic attack in a way. So I was alone in an apartment, and I think my building was really shaking, really, because it has this kind of it's old, really old, building that doesn't have solid
foundation,
support and foundations, and it's I can feel like every movement, even when a car goes in the street, when I first moved in this apartment, it was really, for me, it was like something that I really cannot stand. It was like you can feel cars and all this noise, and you know, like so it's very fragile in a way. So I think that when all this happened, the shaking part was really intense, because it was like my building is on the how to say glass, glassy feet,
like,
or something like that.
like
Yeah.
soil. Okay.
Yeah. So
surface, everything.
That was the first experience, and then we had like two more in
But you were
half
still
an hour, in the period of the half an hour.
Yes, but what I don't get it, you were still in the apartment, in your apartment.
I was still in an apartment. I saw people running out. I saw people going outside, but I was still confused. I didn't know what to do. In a way, I was afraid also to go outside, because something could fall on me. You know, like it wasn't really safe. It was like, and I didn't know how much is this going to last. But then I started to pick my wardrobe and try to put some clothing on, because I realized it's very cold outside. It was like really cold period of time. I don't know, after some sunny days or warm weather, it was abruptly, you know, coldish.
Yes. Some people told me that it was snowing in some parts of Zagreb.
Yeah, it was like, it was really cold.
It was zero.
And then I started to dress up, and you know, you don't know what you have to take, but I took the bottle of water, or my how to say,
boots, coat,
and the coat, good coat, and some how to say, something to have for any kind of wound, you know, some, yeah. I took that I could in that short period, but when the apartment started to shake again, I was really, oh my God, stop. I cannot stand it anymore, because I started to scream. I was screaming to the earthquake, you know, stop it, fuck you, you know. I can't stand.
Yes, because like, you know,
it's crazy. You are talking with the earthquake, or you know, like
yes, like, I don't want to be here. Stop it. Go away. Go away. Just stop it. I don't like you. Move. Disappear. No, I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
And then I run outside, and you know, it was really, it didn't look nice, you know, like there was so many bricks all around my house, and I don't know who was else in the building, but you know.
Did you see somebody? Did you see somebody on the stairways when you were getting out?
No. I think that everybody was like, when this quarantine started, everybody went to home, or the places they wished they wanted to spend in this kind of
some summer houses
or something. Yeah.
So they were not in the city. They were not.
Yeah. At the start, there was not so many people in the city, you know. But after earthquake, there was like almost nobody in the center of the city. So I went outside, and then I went to the first park that I can have here.
The open space.
Open space. That was like, yeah, everybody, if it's possible, you go to open space. If it's not, you stick to the solid parts of the apartment and walls, you know. But for example, my solid wall, it's broken. It's not really solid anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine the situation, you know, when you're getting out, you are now aware that there is an earthquake and you're getting out. Can you imagine seeing somebody that needs help, but you also know that there is a virus going on? Like, should you get in? Should you help? Should you ask for help?
Yeah, that's.
Can you imagine if you were under some, I don't know, bricks and some
Yeah.
others. I don't know. I can imagine people who are like, I would help you, but I'm not getting close to you because it's a
Yeah.
virus up
You,
there.
or you have ill people. You don't want to make
Yes,
anything
yes.
bad to them, you know, because
You can affect.
yeah, you can affect to the your presence
You can
can
spread,
affect
yes.
them. You can spread the virus. So it's like people can have a lot of different points of view, but for me it was like I have to make some digression. When the quarantine started, a lot of people went outside of Zagreb and moved to smaller places. For me, I could not imagine that because my first, how to say, thought was like, if I have it, then I'm going to bring to that
Pass it on,
place.
yes.
And at the same time, I'm in the big city with a lot of hospitals and a lot of possibilities to get a proper medical health care. So I'm more secure in this kind of environment, even if it doesn't seem that it's quite safe. But for me, it was like I am taking responsibility for this situation as I can, and so you know, like it was crazy because after the earthquake, even those people who had this kind of thoughts, even me, I was trying to avoid my family because I don't want to endanger my parents because they are older people. I had to move to their place because I didn't feel safe. I moved after this earthquake, you know, so I cleaned a little bit my house when I went back to my apartment, when I realized that there is not going to be any more earthquakes, but you never know, you know, like.
Yes.
But I decided, okay, now I'm going to apartment, and I a little bit cleaned. I talked with my friends, my family, and we all exchange our you know, impressions about all this situation. But at the end, I decided really to go to them. They're living in a newer part of the city, and they have like really solid buildings, you know. They were built in the 70s, and they had some rules about the building.
It's a
Those kind of
concrete building.
It's a concrete building,
pretty
you know.
steady.
And they said they could feel the earthquake, but I don't think that they feel it like I did. So I moved there at the end of the day, and then I stay like whole month there. Because I just feel so much more safer there, and because the earth was shaking all the time, all the month. And when I decided to go back 1 month after, the earthquake another came. It was so much. It wasn't so strong like that one that happened on the 22nd of March, but it's like you're living in the all day expectation of the earthquake, you know, like. And
that's the worst. That's the fear. That's the worst.
There's a fear, yeah. And
yes.
People are really afraid, you know. Then people are, I think that a lot of people are trying to find some psychological help, you know, and support. And I had like problem when I came back after 1 month. I have like 5 days I could not fall asleep because I was
flashbacks.
Flashbacks, and then you feel like every movement, you know. You feel every moment, and it's like you cannot really relax.
Yes, you're projecting. In a sense, you are reliving. You're reliving. You're reliving because you know you had that experience. Then you moved away, and you are escaped. You know, you escaped, and suddenly when you're back, you're reliving it. And plus, it's still shaking. So it's not that you're just imagining. It's still shaking. So
it's still shaking, and nobody can predict an earthquake, you know. And you know, like after this situation, I have so much clear vision of my future apartment. That's a good thing.
Like what? So
Amsterdam.
like I don't need an apartment, or I don't need in this type of building, or
I don't need this type of building. Yeah,
so
I
you
don't
don't
need.
feel safe.
No, I don't feel safe.
Hmm.
I don't feel safe, and I don't know. You cannot know when the next earthquake is going to happen anywhere in the world. But yeah, some places of the countries or earth are having more chances to get an earthquake. So no matter what, I would be much more not so romantic. Not so romantic.
Sometimes people don't believe, so they do know. In Europe, it's pretty different. I'm now living in Canada, and I couldn't understand Canadians at first because we all Europeans tend to go to the center, to the downtown. Everything is happening there, and we all want or dream to have something like in the center.
Yeah.
So it's very busy. It's there are, like as you say, restaurants, cafe, shops. It's a lifestyle we all love. We could say we love it. Whereas in
Yeah.
Canada, when I came, nothing was actually happening in downtown except like busy life, nothing. And people were not safe. They didn't like it. So I was like, but what are you doing? Oh, we're living outside and we have our, huge backyards, and it's about outdoor activities and spending
Yeah.
time in nature. So it was, for me, it was, I couldn't adjust. I needed time to adjust to that. But now when you're saying like you're still in Europe, it's still the same lifestyle. Like we tend to get to the center. We tend to be
Yeah.
there because everything is happening there. Everything.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful lifestyle. It's beautiful.
It's
So
beautiful lifestyle. It's so much easier, you just walk and do things because everything is so close. It depends on the city, but it's like that.
like no
But
parking, no
no,
parking. No.
yeah,
You don't you
you
even
don't
in
have to
Zagreb.
think about those things. Yeah, you take your bike and then you go and do whatever you want to or need to do.
Mhm.
But I think when you have family, it's a little bit different. I would think differently if I had family. So it's I don't know, it's a lifestyle for singles.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you were actually relocating a lot. Now when I'm listening, like your base was Fiume, sorry, Rijeka,
Yes.
and then you moved to Zagreb. Then from the center you went to your parents' apartment, and then you went
Mm-hmm.
back. Is there any other station that you're planning, like after this
Well,
quarantine, or you?
now not, because we are still waiting, I think, to our borders between the cities
Mhm.
to be open, or how to say, much more bigger, how
Like the traffic, you mean?
općine,
Uh,
županije, ne znam.
okay, the cities, the how to say, this municipalities, like you need to
Yeah.
open. Okay,
Yeah,
but
so we are still waiting for that, but like situation with the artist, and I'm like an artist,
mhm.
is that we don't work. Everything is now closed. All the seasons are closed in the theaters. I cannot imagine how it would be if I was a freelance artist,
Just
because I think for them is the worst, because they need to survive, and I hope that all the governments are going to take care of them in any
the,
way. Or I understand that these are the hard times, but everybody deserves to have a decent life. So I hope for them, really hope for them. But I have my job, and we are now we close the theater in a way, but we closed the theater for the audience. But
mhm.
we were recording those videos that I told you. Like, it was on the 13th, so I have to change that story that I started. So
Mm-hmm.
it was around 13th of March. We made some videos, and my theater started to make this how to say online
It's like meetings, presentations.
yeah,
Okay.
presentations, and in a way small parts of the show, or as I say, we were recording some arias of opera department. Our actors were reading stories for the children, and ballet was dancing for the audience. So it was like online a whole month whole month of program. And I think that we are going to continue in this online
in May.
yeah,
during the May.
During the May and July. I think that we are going to do these kind of things, but I cannot say 100% sure what is going to happen, because we are all just waiting, trying to adapt and trying to see what is going to be, and which kind of laws are going, every city is going to make, you know, for this kind of situation.
But I have to say that I love when you told me, I went online to check your theater and to check those online presentations, and I have to admit I love it, because it's the very nice way to still be connected to your audience, to your it's like you're building community, because I'm not the audience, I'm not there, I cannot follow, but once they put online, I became a part of that community, because now I'm going regularly to check like what is going on, who is singing. I love what you did, and I love hearing also the others. So it's like, in a sense, this situation made them give up their audience, but they gain a wider community, because now I'm included, and I enjoyed a lot. A lot of people, even here, not even here, Victoria is also doing a lot to raise that awareness that we are in this together, and then we have to reach out and we have to make it work. It's us, it's us, it's us. So
we have to take care of each other.
Yes, that's the, I think that's the,
it's nobody's, you know, like nobody's guilty, you know, just be human being and be nice. It's the easiest thing that we could do, and think about others, you know, like maybe I'm saying all these things and I'm not taking care maybe about old people so much, or I'm not involved in some kind of organizations, but this is, at least this is making me aware of this. You know, my conscience is now working this kind of way.
Okay,
it's not only about me. It's not only about me or anybody else.
I want to hear more. So what are the takeaways for you from this situation? Like
you mean
like a takeaway after this is done, and after you put earthquake and coronavirus in some folders, what would be like 2 or 3 things you would say I've learned from this experience, and I'm taking away with me, and I will do things differently? Give me at least 2 or 1. I just want to know. Maybe we will be on the same page.
There is so many things. There is so many things that I'm now more conscious than before, or I just take them for granted. Let's say it like that. But first of all, I'm happy that I'm with my family. I spend so much time with my family, and on this, how to say, I think that we connected so much more during this period of time.
Can you stop? You are a soloist on the stage, and suddenly you're part of the big family. Can you see you were working and going everywhere in Zagreb and all of the stages in some stages in Europe, and suddenly you're at home and you're reflecting. So can you see, like, from one pair of shoes you got to the opposite ones?
Yes.
I don't know,
yes.
somehow when you start talking, I was like, I saw you like moving from this state to that one.
Yes. But
sorry,
you're right. You're totally right. But I have to admit that my work and my job, it's not really like regular job. It's like I have to travel a lot, but also I have to have time for myself. So when I'm creating, at least I have to have now in this period of time and with my consciousness that I have now. But I need my loneliness when and I'm accepting this kind of way of living, because I really can be a lot alone, even if I'm in the same city like when it's my family here, you know, like but I'm spending a lot of time alone. And of
now
course because of the job, but now I don't have to do that. That's the thing. I don't have obligations that for which I have to be concentrated in this kind of way. And now I can really be, even I'm not relaxed totally, I'm trying to relax as much as possible, because when you don't have this kind of like regular job and obligations that you have to do, then you start to do things that are waiting for you for many years.
Like what?
Oh my God.
Are you doing cleaning?
Let's start with cleaning. Yeah, let's start with that. I'm not really housewife type of person, but
everybody are in spring cleaning now. Everybody are decluttering, doing the decluttering.
Especially now in the city, because there is so much dust because of the earthquake, you know, like you cannot clean it enough. It's just it brings so much dust every time you clean it. So yeah, I can find everywhere my job. But it's not just cleaning, it's just how to say,
maybe you're
reflecting, even these things like online talk and online interviews. And in a way, I'm not this kind of very extrovert person that wants to share my private life online, but this is the situation that I have to, but it opened me a little bit more towards that. So
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
That's also a good thing, yeah, because I don't know, we you know, me and you, we have our stories, our experiences in our life. So and we're like generations between two worlds, and you know, like all this is not so familiar to us in a way.
Yes.
So
this is
yeah. So this is the good thing. Social, to have friends, to have family, to have help, you know, like these are the most important things. And now we realize it so much more. It's not just something that you just take it for granted. So
something came to my mind, and I have to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Stay with me. Stay with me on this. So Ivana is an opera singer, and you're usually going on to some stages, and you are, while performing, you're expressing the emotions of the character. Right. And suddenly coronavirus is putting you on the stage of your private life, when you are getting the chance to express publicly your own emotions.
Yeah.
That's how I see. How I
Yes.
see. You're saying I'm private. I am public person because I'm on stages. I'm performing all over. People know me. But I'm so private. I'm alone. I'm lonely. I love to spend time with myself. I love to reflect. And suddenly, this situation is making some change, and you're getting out and suddenly sharing your own thoughts and emotions. Can you see the
Yeah.
like? It's like
Yeah. It's like a mirror.
Yes.
It's like a mirror.
Yes.
Like a mirror, and everything is like a mirror, you know, like everything that we do, and every person that is in our life, it's like in a way reflecting us, and we reflect them
Back.
to them.
Back. Yes.
So yeah, so it's so I don't know if regardless of the fear, I think it's very interesting, very interesting experience, all this what is happening. And if we are not just trying to find bad news, we could find so many good news at the same time, or good revelations about ourselves, you know, and the world. So I don't know, I don't see all this situation so traumatic, you know, like I'm not the person that I appreciate so much more going outside now, because initially I wasn't that kind of person. I was like, oh, just please leave me to sleep and just leave me alone. And or I don't want to go outside, or whatever. But now I appreciate so much more of that. So I miss that, really. I miss that.
So
that freedom.
Yeah, first thing, yeah, but it's good, you know, it's good that I can show you, I have a notebook and I'm putting down everything. Like, promise, Natasha, promise yourself, you will. 1, 2, 3. So there are pages. So we'll see. We'll see how I will, you know, follow this guidance.
Yeah. Let's hope for the how to say, to be consistent. Yeah, consistent.
As persistent and
persistent
and do what you know now is good for you to do.
Yeah.
Even I could talk with you, I don't know, 3 hours.
Well, I'm so glad that we talked, and that you're my first how to say journalist, or
host.
Host is the right word. Yeah, because it was really friendly, and so much, it has so much warmth, this experience.
Yes.
So yeah, and I'm apologizing for my bad English.
No, come on.
It's like, yeah, because my thoughts are very quick, and then sometimes I lost in my thoughts.
Come on, I'm living almost a decade in Canada, and I'm still switching. Into, you know, 2 languages, back and forth. And sometimes I don't know to say a word in Serbian, and on the other side, I don't know how to say anything in English. So I know the feeling, and trust me, I enjoyed. I didn't notice anything. I was following you. I could imagine. I even in one moment, I was standing, because I know I've been in your apartment many times, and when you were describing the situation, I was actually on, you know, on your window watching outside, and I was like, Jesus, I could feel it. Like I was there, I was with you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. But whatever,
it's just a destiny. I'm telling you, like it was really traumatic in a way of the shock and the experience like that. And we have a lot of damage, like financial damage, how to say,
yes,
like physical,
material
damage.
Sanation will be pretty expensive because
it's going to be really, really expensive, I think, and every building is going to have their own story. But at the end, all this finished so much better than it could be. How to
no human victims.
No, yeah, we were protected in a way, in some kind of crazy way. We were protected. So let's hope for this kind of scenarios. You know, like let's be aware of them.
Yes, I'm glad you say that, and I'm glad you share this story, because in a sense, this is the way how you can release, name those emotions, and you were holding them for a month, and now you're just releasing them. It's not reliving, you know, you can, in a sense, better evaluate what was going on, and it's still pretty fresh. You know, it was just a month ago. It was everything you said was pretty brave. All decisions you mentioned, my first and the last impression is like, Ivana, you are so brave, so brave.
Well, I'm not. There are more braver people.
That's what we all think. That's what we all think. But no. I'm glad. I'm glad you're alive, healthy, safe, and alive, in a good, how can I say, in a good spirit. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, I always. I can talk with you as much as you want or I want, which means we have to now say finally goodbye. Even now, I hope to see you soon.
I hope to see you too.
Stay healthy. Ciao, ciao.